this is kind of a funny story. My parents sent me to Woodstock. They didn't know that what they were sending me to because nobody knew what the Woodstock Festival in 1969 was really going to end up being beforehand. And I thought I was going there for the music because I was very involved in music and acting and performing growing up. And the reason I ended up going to that camp is, or to that, to Woodstock, was that I went to a camp in the summertime for the performing arts. And the spring of 69, the camp director sends this note home to all the parents saying, for the first time in the camp's history, we're going to have an optional field trip to a music and arts festival in upstate New York. Do you want to send your kids? So my parents naively send me. I thought, like I said, that I was going there for the music, and it was really over the moon. But what I couldn't have known beforehand, and what took me a while to unpack following my experience at Woodstock, was that I was actually there to have my entire worldview totally blown, totally expanded, totally transcended, really, because I started to understand the wisdom underneath the cliche from the 1960s that was sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And the wisdom underneath that has informed my entire career. So I'll unpack that really briefly. The wisdom underneath the part of the cliche around sex in sex, drugs, and rock and roll was that in the 60s we were looking for deeper ways to be bonded with each other than the mere expectation of a marriage contract. And the drugs part was that we were looking for ways to be more fully who we were, more authentic, in contrast to the conformity that was installed in the United States and around the world subsequently during the 1950s. And the rock and roll part of sex, drugs, and rock and roll was that for the first time in the history of music, lyrics were appearing in songs that were telling us that we actually had the power to change the world for the better.